Hello everyone, this is Rama here. Good to see you all here. It was a fantastic start by Mr. Mathur, taken over by Mr. Mohan, and then by Preeti. It's a fantastic stage that is set for me to take over from here and give you what it means to brokers and how this team sitting out here can handhold you. If you may be a struggler, survivor, or shooting star, to reach and be the master. I will again reiterate the statement what Mr. Mathur has presented, and it's a chairman's vision of increasing the insurance penetration in Indian market. How it can be done? It is all in the hands of us as a broker community to drive the success of Mr. Chairman's vision. As it's a simple math, if we are serving, say, 100 corporates today, to achieve the chairman's vision, we have to serve nothing less than 10x of what is our current capacity is. So if you are serving 100, you have to serve 1,000. If you are serving 1,000, you have to serve 10,000. So that is how the capacity increase has to happen. When you say the capacity increase has to happen to achieve the chairman's vision, which is ultimatum for all of us, the first and foremost thing is, how do we do that? If you look at from the same team increase, operational cost, decreasing revenues, decreasing percentage commissions, so on and so forth, there are enough challenges around us as well. So where do we come from? So how do we help together? This is one of the fantastic things I would like to bring it onto the table over this conference to you all, is when we were initially discussing with Mr. Mathur and the IIRM team, the first thing that came out of us was, how do we democratize the technology? How do we play an inclusive game than being an exclusive stuff? The inclusive game is what will make brokers like you get empowered with the technology that is needed, handhold the thing that is getting done, and also the research stuff that what Mr. Mohan was talking about will definitely help to empower each one of us. I would like to join the community of what you are today. And this research, what is happening at IIRM in terms of parameterizing the risk elements and ensuring that the risk elements or risk parameters have been streamlined so that everything is in line with the discussion agenda that we have. So this is what made an exciting story today, where as IIRM, which is an institute which is more focused on insurance and risk aspects of the business, inclusive aspect of it with the broker community to drive the knowledge that they have into the technology and push it to the broker community. See, as Preeti was mentioning, so end of the day, everybody has to be moving to this masters as a greener box, and everybody would like to see themselves to be a master. But today, the parameters of the game are changing dynamically. To move from a struggler to a master, or a difference between a master and a struggler, is called technology. And just on a number's sake, if you are using technology, 70 to 90% of your operations and sales are happening through technology, you eventually be reaching out right on the top, which is a master. And again, the same is true when you are a struggler. You are not using technology, you're going to be struggling. The market capture opportunity that is going to be multi-folded in the next year or so. Again, 20 to 50%, you will be still a surveyor. 50 to 70% is still a shooting star. And we would like to see everybody to be at 70 to 90. This is, again, when there is a democratizing of technology that happens, and every broker has all the technology that is required to scale up their operations, scale up their business revenue growth and profit growth right there. So everybody is on the level playing ground. And the parameters then, which is going to impact, is the skill and the will to be a unicorn by yourself. So that is the model in which we are going to position ourselves. We are going to handhold the journey from here to the next degree of growth, which is like a 10x growth, which we would like to see at every broker level. Looking at that, again, we don't want to say that, hey, there is a 10x growth opportunity and now you keep jumping onto it. But no, we have done our research in terms of identifying what actually your corporates or businesses community is looking out. See, currently, there is no option for businesses, either they switch from broker 1 to broker 2 and still manage the show, or they hire the risk managers at there and try to map the story. But if we look at the strengthening the broking ecosystem, the way we see it is understand the problems of your customer. If we engage with your customer better, you have the technology, right technology to empower. IIRM would like to shake hands with the broker and empower the customer of yours. And if you look at from the what corporate customer angle is, you have a pro servicing. 78% of the customer says, hey, we are going to switch the broker. If there is a problem with a claim settlement, I don't want to say it's a smaller claims, they ignore it, but if there's a major claim, 37% of the people say that if there is a problem with the claim settlement, they're going to shift the broker. The third one is more exciting, which is actually growing the numbers. Inadequate risk sensitization. ये broker ने मुझे बताया नहीं था, इसलिए मुझे पता नहीं है. So next broker told something that is which is very exciting, so they immediately move to the next broker. So inadequate risk sensitization is actually growing its volume. Of course, the product availability, others, that is again a challenge that we need to address through skill and improvisation. But taking the top 3 parameters, poor servicing, problems with the major claims, claim management activities, or inadequate risk sensitization as a 3 major areas which are going to drive your corporate or the customer satisfaction, is the base of the journey for us. As we move along, let me not talk the story along. I will take directly to the demo. But before the demo, I would like to say what it means. What it means, I told you, like, if you want to be a struggler, you're at 0 to 20. If you want to be at a different stage, you want to adopt to say 30% of your adaptability towards technology is the first step. But what is that first 30% of the technology? It is set your internal things right. When you set your internal things right, you are at 30% of the technology adoption. When I say internal things, you need a lead management system. The leads that are coming into your system, you need to prioritize the leads. If it is SME, how that has to be handled. If it is an enterprise, how that has to be handled. Your internal sales operations, the pre-sales activities has to be streamlined well, so that as a broking owner, when you look at the gamut of your leads and their opportunity value, you should be able to take it at a snap of a finger. So that will give you an overall picture of growth that you are looking at. The second most important thing is, once the lead is being converted to an account, how are you managing that customer? Currently, if you look at the lead to account conversion, the moment it is converted to an account, can they post the tickets that they have, or can they post their inquiries that they have over a tech stack so that they can understand what is the tat of their communication? So lead management to the account conversion to the ticket management system, which will ensure there is a communication that is happening between internal processes and a first leg of customer. Set things right, you are at a 30% of your tech journey. So let me take a quick break here and try to shift myself to the tech stack that we are talking about, so that we both are on the same page of what I'm talking about. Just give me a second. Let me quickly jump onto this. If you are on this, so every broker would be having something of this sort, where they will have a complete lead management system. I will not take much time on this. I'll just run you through. There is a lead module, there is an account module, there is a ticketing module that we are going to get. And in the lead module, if you observe, when the lead comes and lands on your screen, they will be on the new lead value, and then it goes to the prospecting and the workflow of your lead management, right from the new lead to the prospecting to finally the contract one, is all can be organized at a single snapshot view. And if you observe here, there is something called lead value, which is waiting here. So if the lead value is high on the negotiations, you want to do something out there, providing a discount and all, that can all be improvised here. Again, this will help you in the decision making. It is not forcing you to do that, but he'll help you in the decision making of how your internal roles of your business, it can be an business user or a broking user role, can manage the entire system of leads out here. The moment you see a lead, I'll just quickly click on a negotiations done lead or a contract sent lead. I'll just go here. There are around 3 leads which are then a contract sent. You click on this and observe that this is a list of all the communication that has been done on this particular lead. Either now you want to click on the contract one and the contact lost. You click on a contract one. The moment you click on the contract one, you just create an account with all the data that you have. Now this you see here, there's a 133, which is again a test data. You can add your support contact details. You can add your support sales contact details, submit this. So that automatically from lead, it gets created to account. The moment you get created it as an account, you go here, understand what it means as an account for you. Again, the restrictions on tech, everything can be there. What is the loss estimate of this particular guy? What is the outstanding resource on this particular guy? So basically, if you observe from a standpoint of an account, you would see how many accounts are in the new state, how many are tech onboarded as a dedicated server, shared server. I'll talk in depth of this later, but you talk about if you have a premium customer, you want to have a dedicated server for them. If you don't want if you're a normal customer, you can be on a shared server. But I'll not take much time on the tech side here. But if you observe what I wanted to show, in the moment it is converted from a lead to account, you get into an account here, and you can actually control that account by creating tickets or everything that you want as a communication. So you're also the account owner will also have access to this particular technology so that they can go here and try to add a ticket for your internal business, which might be a claim or an endorsement or whatever it is. So technically, if there is an endorsement on a policy, they can just click on this and say, what is the ticket summary and what is the priority of it? I'm just doing this for which is assigned to a ticket owner and all. So technically, once you do this exercise, you would have a ticket created. So as a business owner, you would now go to the ticketing module of this particular business and say, click on the tickets, and you would understand how many tickets are open from the business, how many tickets have been assigned to the user, in progress kitne hai, how many are completed, how many are reopened, so on and so forth. And you would understand from the fact that how many tickets once created, what is the TAT of completion and all. So this is like a basics of technology. I'll go back to my presentation where you talk about setting the internal things right. Is the lead management, account management, and the ticket management, which you are going to do here. Well, we all know it is just 30% of the game. But the next important game is to move yourself from 30 to 50% of the game. And to you be sitting at 50% of the game, the first and foremost thing that you need to do is set the communications right, or a communication streamline between you and your customer. If you look at from the angle of the communications, now the communication might happen between you and your customer regarding the policy. When I say policy, it can be a number of policy requests or discussions that are going to happen. Policy management and the communications related to the policy management, renewal reminders, claim management, TAT escalations. If the TAT is not, if you're looking out for a documents to be submitted by your customer and they haven't submitted the documents, excuse me. If you're looking out for that to be submitted, you understand then automatically the communications have to be made. So if you can streamline all the communications that are happening between you and your customer, get streamlined to technology. It can be an endorsement, it can be a claim request, it can be a policy, it can be a renewal reminder, or it can be a TAT escalations. Any such communication that is happening between you and your customer if you can be able to streamline that and ensure that you use technology for that aspect, you are at 50% of the game here. So let me move to what I mean by that. Let me go to this. If you are a broking company and you give this technology now to your end customer, they should be able to see and analyze their respective data right here on their screen and see on a real-time basis. Here is where I want to take the input back from Mr. Mohan. When he was talking about as a business, you can go here and try to add your employees, properties, infosec, requirements, suppliers, cyber, drone, insight, so on and so forth. As you keep adding the data, as you keep adding the details out here, the first and foremost thing is, let me go to the employee module to understand here. So I click on this, you go to the employee module, you should be able to upload the bulk upload the data or so. I'll just not spend time here, but let me go into the deep of it. You click on this. Now this is a particularly one employee of one business. And in this particular employee of a business, there is something called health profile. If you look at the health profile, based on what are the parameters that have been defined till now and the weightage of these parameters, everything is organized, and end of the day, I would know based on the parameters or a self-assessment that is being taken by an employee, I would know he has scored 145 out of 230, which is a total. 230 is there, it is like a best guy. Now the total score or risk percentage is around 63% in total. So technically, this employee, the risk is around 63%. A group of such employees grouped together, there is a risk percentage on the dashboard. If you observe, the total risk percentage is being displayed here. And that risk percentage is what is shown on this particular gamut. When you are analyzing the data, if a customer goes inside, does his job of adding their own parameters, adding their everything, automatically the risk would be displayed out here. From the broking standpoint, I will add the journey of you right now. Say, for example, I go back to the account section out here. The moment you go to the account section, I was talking to you about, hey, if you are a new lead, from the new lead, you can actually deploy a dedicated server or a shared server for a business. The moment you deploy this, automatically your customer is going to get this kind of portal. As your customer gets this kind of portal, they themselves can go into this portal and try to add the employees or bulk upload the employees out here. So once they upload the employees to an Excel sheet, it can be just an email ID, which is a mandatory, rest everything can be taken as at the later time. All the employees will also get an access to this portal so that the employee can log into the journey portal and try to add their params or their basic details, and also the health profile details, and also the dependents that they want. Everything can be added out here. The moment this is all added by the employee, automatically you know that, okay, this particular business has, say, for example, 10 employees in total, and these 10 employees fall into multiple categories. As you are seeing there, excuse me. As you are seeing there are 5 in a decent shape and 1 in a rod. Another one is like a bad health conditions. So this risk, this thing will come, and based on this, the policies can be curated. And the policy, when it is curated, you can add that policy into the portfolio module, which we are going to give it to you. So the moment you add a policy in the portfolio module, that may be a group term insurance or employee benefit policies or group medical employment policies or so on, you can add them there, or policies can be curated and add it here. And you can click on the policy and say, hey, here are the employees who are attached to this particular policy. You can select all the employees and say, I want to attach these employees to this particular policy, and thus this policy will become equipped with these employees as well. and vice versa is also true. See, what is that we are trying to do is to streamline the entire journey of you, your customer, and their customer, like B to B to C. All the three levels of customers are getting empowered, and also at the same time, they get the technology that is required. What happens when they get the technology that is required for them is go to the employee module. I'll just give an example to you. Till now, you might be serving the GMC policy for this particular employee. But as I go into the system, and this is a default policy that I already got because of my employer. But now I want to go and buy something like a life insurance policy, which is again a curated version of it, or it can be a COVID policy, which might be an add-on policy that we want to take. So as an employee, they can just click here and say, these are the 4 policies that it is already there, select one and say, this is also added into my system. So technically what is happening is there can be an upsell on policies, there can be a cross-sell on policies, there can be analogy on policies that can happen, and all the things that we do here, every communication is completely streamlined, strategized, and it is already presented out here. It is not just about the employee module, it is also about the property risk module, which I say, you go to your customer and say, add all your properties out here. As you add properties out here, or the assets out here, each asset can go through the COPE form, which is like construction property details, or occupancy details, or production details, or exposure details. The moment business fills in these details, they get sensitized on what is the kind of risk that this particular asset goes through, and that becomes a lead for you. So if you give this technology to either your prospect or to your, either your lead or your account, in both cases, if you give this to your lead, you would actually ensure the risk sensitization or risk analysis happening at a regular intervals for your customer, and you have their data with you. And after that, I don't have to give you the GAN on how you can approach a customer. You are the masters out there. But you have now the data to approach. It is like a customer coming to you, you don't have to wait for them to become your customer. A lead can also be given this technology so that the data is added and you are fully equipped to convert that lead into an account in a much easier way. And there are multiple modules which we are curating and generating and keeping it for you here. If somebody comes and asks you for a cyber risk as a risk that they wanted to take, they can add their details, understand what is the risk profile that they wanted to add about that cyber risk, and eventually you have your details about the risk percentage and all. And based on that, your communication can happen. So like this, every profile of your customer can be captured out here and be analyzed for the better growth. Let me move back on to my presentation, where you are now a 50% equipped with the technology, right? This is where we left our PPT and went back to the other ones. Now you talk about the 70%. I mentioned to you the risk sensitization. This is the most, as I mentioned, as Mr. Mohan was talking about you in our session now, risk sensitization. Don't try to oversell to the business. Make them sensitize of the risk that they are carrying. It can be a self-assessment tool, or as I mentioned to you, if you find a lead, you just throw this technology at them and say, hey, customer, or hey, lead, just add all the data, like your employees, your assets, your everything out there. And this technology will risk sensitize the customer or a lead of yours on a continuous note. I would like to highlight the third point, which is like continuous monitoring. They might be not at the high risk right now, but they might be getting into the high risk as they move from one stage to other. I'll give an example. There are some riots happening in a particular location. So till that moment, they are not in a risk, but as the riots are happening, automatically that asset gets into the high risk zone. So technically there is a continuous monitoring, and the moment system monitors that there is a a risk that is going to for the property or the employee or so on and so forth, automatically the communication to happen from the system saying that, hey, customer, your risk is getting higher because of some riots happening at this place, or maybe there are some climatic changes. This is a risk that is you might be pursuing, and so be aware of that risk and ensure that you take the adequate policies for that. So technically, by ensuring the tech stack is being enabled right from the lead level to your account level and have this risk sensitization as a key focus area for you, you are now at 70% tech enabled, or I would say 70%, once again, you are at 70% tech enabled and you are 70% on the top of the business. Of course, I don't want to miss this opportunity to say what makes you a superpower. The superpower is all in your head right now. You throw out an idea. So if you are facing a problem in terms of, I might see this as a gap in our journey, or you might, because you guys are on the ground, you might understand from an angle of how the system can perform, or how there can be a tweak in the workflow, there can be a tweak in this entire ecosystem that can you bring into the table. We at IIRM, incubated at IIRM, we are very happy to understand your idea and make your idea to work in the system. And of course, the experts are monitoring your idea, and you will get the fantastic and expert advice over your idea and have the tech incubated for that. So this is where the democratizing and the step-by-step approach to make it to the top will yield you in the journey. That's where I would like to pause myself, and thank you for the time being given for this entire presentation. Over to the question and answers to you, Bharat.